the only Ocean Robbins. Ocean, how did he get to be so cool?
Well, the ocean is kind of cool, especially the Pacific.
So I'm so excited. As you guys know, Ocean is one of my very best friends in the industry. Some of you might know that, some of you might not. And, I'm here with Ocean today because Ocean has launched an incredible health-based movement. He's not just reaching 5,000 people or 100,000 people. He's reaching hundreds of thousands of people. And what I love about that, Ocean, is that every time I listen to you do an interview, every time I listen to you go on video or read one of your articles, I get more tools in my toolbox to improve my health, improve my vitality, improve how I feel on a daily basis, and be the leader that I want to be in the world. We've got women from all over the world that are watching right now. For those of you that don't know Ocean, he's the CEO of the Food Revolution Network. He has started several incredible organizations in his lifetime, but his baby right now is the food revolution that he is spearheading. And Ocean, I just want to thank you for being here, and let's dive in. And I'm curious, what brought you to launch this crazy thing called not just a training or a company, but a revolution?
Well, what brought me to this was on a personal level, growing up in a family with a unique story. My grandpa founded an ice cream company. It was called Baskin Robbins, 31 flavors. And my dad, John, grew up with an ice cream cone-shaped swimming pool in the backyard and 31 flavors of ice cream in the freezer. He ended up walking away from the family company and the family fortune to follow his own rocky road and moved to Canada and built a one-room log cabin and practiced yoga and meditation for hours a day. And he and my mom named their kid Ocean, and they almost named me Kale. You've heard this story, of course, Sage, before. And so the fascinating thing is that my dad went on to become a best-selling author, writing about food and health. And the media called him the rebel without a cone. And he inspired millions of people, partly through his books and message, partly through his example of integrity, that some things are more important in life than the almighty dollar. And one of his readers ended up being my grandpa, Ocean Robbins, who read my dad's book and followed its advice and wound up reversing diabetes and heart disease and losing a bunch of weight he needed to lose. And his golf game improved 7 strokes, and he added 19 more healthy years to his life. My dad's uncle, my grandpa's brother-in-law, Bert Baskin, wasn't so lucky. He followed the standard American diet plus a double scoop of ice cream and wound up, dying of heart disease at the age of 54. So we really have seen in our family very personally that what we eat can shape our destiny. And when we eat the standard American diet, we get the standard American diseases.
Right.
But the good news is we can also turn it around and reap incredible benefits. And my grandpa was one stubborn cookie. He probably had more investment in thinking there was no connection between food and health than just about anybody. Because, newsflash, ice cream is delicious, but it's not a health food. However, he ended up turning his life around, giving up ice cream, giving up sugar, eating a lot of whole plant foods, and getting those results. And I figure if he could make those changes, maybe there's hope for the rest of us. So in my own life, I founded a nonprofit, as you mentioned, and worked with leaders in over 65 countries, for 20 years. And our mission was to empower the next generation of leadership to take positive action on this planet. And as I traveled the globe and worked with people all over the world, I saw that everybody eats. And what we're eating is having this enormous impact on our planet. And eventually I realized I got to focus on food. Yeah. So in 2012, I joined with my dad and we launched Food Revolution Network together to try to take the message of food that he had written about in his books and bring it out to a mass audience using modern technologies and using the summit model that you actually taught us, Sage, back almost a decade ago. And the response was incredible. We've been growing ever since. We have a summit every year. That's kind of our flagship program. 300,000 people now come together every year to learn the latest breaking news about food and health. And we also offer courses and a blog and an email newsletter. We send out about 130 million messages a year. We have over 650,000 members actively right now. And we have a mission, which is tying back to your original question, which is healthy, ethical, and sustainable food for all. We live in a toxic food culture. The modern diet is killing us. It's also killing our planet. It's fueling desertification, topsoil erosion, aquifer depletion, climate change. It's torturing animals, and it's fueling epidemic rates of heart disease and cancer and type 2 diabetes and obesity and dementia and all the other chronic ailments of our times that are connected to the food on our plates. So the good news is we can do something about all of that in one fell swoop when we bring our food choices into alignment with our values.
I'm writing down what you've done to start your food revolution movement, Ocean Robbins, because this movement that you've started has gone far and wide around every corner of the globe. So no, I'm not actually distracted over here. I'm taking notes. I wanted you guys to be able to see this because many of you have been working on launching a movement. And when you found out I was interviewing Ocean, you had questions like, how is it that he's reaching so many people? Ocean, you have an incredible story. You're not afraid to talk about your family, where you came from, but it's not just you that has an incredible story. It's everyone. Your story is just the story that you've lived, but please make a note that Ocean's story really leads to him taking a passionate stand for food. You know, for every single one of you that's watching Ocean right now, what story have you lived that has led to you taking a passionate stand in the way that Ocean has? And Ocean also delivers amazing content to his audience. And he does that in the form of interviews, interviewing people. Well, one of the ways he does it is in the form of interviews. And if you haven't signed up for the Food Revolution Summit, I highly recommend you grab a free seat. We're going to pop the link right here with the video. It's already there, in fact. So you can grab a seat there. I recommend listening. Every time I listen to Ocean's interviews, I learn something new that's not just the traditional information. It's cutting edge information about how to keep my body healthier. But I also want to point out that you've interviewed some incredible experts far and wide to help us all become healthier. What else would you say about just this movement that you've launched and, you know, what you want us to know about being healthy, thriving, vibrant women entrepreneurs?
Well, about the movement, I will say that we live in a world in crisis. You know, the amount of suffering on this planet, if there was a way to measure it, will break your heart, you know? And the really sad thing is that if we continue on the path we're going, we're going to get where we're headed. And with climate change and every day on this planet having more humans, less forests, less topsoil, less water, it's easy to see that we're on a collision course with systemic environmental collapse. But the good news, and I think it's great news, is that we are evolutionary creatures. We have the capacity to learn from our history and from our present circumstance and to evolve. We have an intelligence within us that is magnificent. And one of the expressions of that intelligence is that we don't always have to eat the way that we grew up eating or that our parents ate. We have the capacity to make a change in our food choices. How we nourish our bodies is one of the most fundamental personal sacred acts there is. What you eat literally connects you to everything on the planet. And when you bring your food choices into alignment and coherence with what you really want for your health and for the health of your world, then you have the opportunity to take on a kind of potency, a kind of vibrancy, a kind of dynamism that is extraordinary. If you're somebody who wants to do big things, who wants to accomplish big things, then you better nourish your body well. You better nourish your body right so that you have the energy and the mental clarity to be at your best. And I actually think that if we look at it from a broad perspective, I think that one of the greatest privileges you can ever have is good health. I mean, in fact, there's a saying, a person with their health has 1,000 dreams. A person without it has one dream, and that's to get their health back. I mean, when you're in sickness or crisis, you'll do anything. Nobody signs up for a dose of chemotherapy because they think it's going to be fun or taste good. They do it because they want to live, and they're afraid they're going to die if they don't. Well, how about if we approached our health care and our preventive care with that same kind of urgency? Because that's what's at stake. If you do not take care of your health today, you will pay the price someday, probably sooner than you expect. And the good news is that it's not just about preventing disease. It's about loving life. It's about thriving. It's about waking up with a bounce in your step and a song in your heart. Mental health is connected to physical health. Spiritual health, emotional health are connected to physical health. When you're at your best, you cultivate healthier relationships. And yes, you run a healthier business. You make more money. You're more vibrant and alive and attuned to your purpose, and you have more to give, more to serve, and people like that and they're drawn to you. So that's what I'm calling for in the food revolution, is bringing your food choices into coherence with your core purpose for yourself and the impact you want to have on the planet. So again, back to the Food Revolution Summit. Link down below. Sign up today. This is your chance to join and hear from 24 of the top food experts on the planet, sharing what you need to know now about food and health. What are the latest breakthroughs? The health world has been changing so fast. We've been in a pandemic. I'm sure you know that. People are learning so much right now about immune health, about how to optimize it, about how you can prevent disease. Why is it that 94% of the people who have died of COVID-19 have had comorbidities? Why is it that some people get sick and are not even showing symptoms, and other people end up in the hospital or worse? A lot of it comes down to our overall healthfulness, and our diet and lifestyle is one of the central places we can impact that. So in the Food Revolution Summit, we'll be talking about that and about how you can optimize your health and well-being now and for the future, and also about how your food choices send out those ripples around the whole globe. It's the latest breaking insights. We'll dispel a lot of the myths and foolish misconceptions about food so you can get the truth about what really works, what tens of thousands of studies published in peer-reviewed medical journals actually tell us from the latest breaking insights on the planet. So that's all available to you for free when you click the link below and join us in the summit.
Ocean, I don't think there's a more passionate speaker on the planet. I love hearing you stand for our health. And for those of us that are in the process of growing businesses and launching our own movements and our own revolutions, I just invite you to study Ocean's authority. He's not afraid to tell you what to do because he's advocating for you. Can you feel how he speaks with such results-driven language, right? If you are a health practitioner, go out there and stand for people's health. If you're a relationship mentor, go out there and stand for love. Ocean also does something, in addition to really being a passionate stand, he unites us against a common enemy. He unites us against a common enemy of disease, right? We are now united against disease and poor health so that we can all go become the greatest versions of ourselves that we ever thought possible. For those of you that are watching, post a yes in the chat below if you're inspired, if you can see how this passion and this authority can serve you in growing your movement. And I know I'm somebody who studies interviews. One of the reasons I love interviewing people is because I've been listening to interviews for 10 years. And Ocean, your interviews are the best I've ever come across, especially in the health space. They're full of usable, tangible tips for me to be healthier. They move quickly. I can never peel myself away. I listen when I'm driving down the Highway 1 California coast, watching the beach go by, feeling myself get more and more inspired to take better care of myself. And I just want to ask you, what's new and awesome in this upcoming Food Revolution Summit? Because I would hate to have any of you leave this interview, this mini training, not signing up for the Food Revolution Summit, because it's absolutely an extraordinary experience.
Well, first I'll add on and say that all of the interviews in this summit are hosted by me and are conducted by my dad and my colleague, 2 million copy best-selling author John Robbins. And one of the things that's so special about this is that he's been in this food movement for decades. He's inspired a lot of the speakers in the summit. John Mackey, who started Whole Foods at one point, essentially said there probably would be no Whole Foods without my dad's work, both because of its impact on John Mackey, but also because of its impact on creating a space, the field, if you will, for the modern health food movement. And so having my dad conduct these interviews is just extraordinary. He spends days preparing for every single interview. He's read all the books of the people he's interviewing. He knows how to evoke the heart of their expertise. So it is an extraordinary experience. And one of the things an interviewer does that at their best is they're able to comprehensively understand the material and then help bring out and even distill what the presenter is saying so that it's actionable and take-homeable for the user. That's you, right? So anyway, that's one thing. As far as this year and what's new, one of the things that's new is being in a pandemic and all that we're learning about that. And I think people are more concerned about their immune health than ever, because we really see how important it is to have not just a high functioning immune system, but a smart immune system. Because you know what? A lot of people's immune systems mount a huge response, and you can actually have what's called a cytokine storm, which actually is one of the worst things that can happen with COVID-19. You want a smart immune system that knows when to turn it on and when to chill out, so to speak, when to calm down, and what the right balance is. A lot of us are in chronic inflammation these days, which is actually an immune system that's overactive and doesn't ever know how to quiet down. So you want an immune system that is resilient, resourceful, and able to know when to just really be quiet and when to mount a big inflammation in response to a crisis. And food can help you do that. And so we'll be looking at that a lot, as well as the latest insights about cardiovascular health. You know, even in a pandemic, in 2020, more Americans died of heart disease than COVID. So we're still dealing with, that's the number one killer on the planet. And number two is still cancer. So we've got to look at all these things as well as immune health in totality. And the good news is that the same food choices that are best for one part of your body, like your brain, are also best for your heart and for every cell in your body. And so we look at all of that and look at the latest insights on what herbs and spices are beneficial, which food groups do we need to eat the most of, and also kind of what are the latest, dispelling some of the latest confusions and controversies that have been coming up around food. Every so often we have studies pop up that make headlines that tell us things, and folks are like, yikes, is that true? And, a lot of long-term plant-based eaters get worried about specific nutrients, whether it's selenium or zinc or protein, of course, or iron or iodine. So we look at all these things, as well as B12 and vitamin D, and how much do you need, and what are the right sources, and what are the wrong sources? And in totality, the question is, how can you get the nutrients you need so you can thrive, so you can do what you were born to do, not so you can obsess about food, but so that food can fuel you.
Ocean said it all. What else would we want to know than how to keep inflammation down in our bodies, how to eat? I mean, I've been leaning toward a plant-based diet my entire life, but since knowing Ocean, I'm reaching for the best organic mushroom. I'm reaching for the best healthy greens at the farmer's market, and just proud to know that the food I'm putting in my body contributes to my legacy, who I get to become. And I think that's one of the greatest things about being on an entrepreneurial path, is that it becomes our duty to take amazing care of ourselves. And I think that's a huge benefit. Ocean, thank you for helping me take care of myself, for inspiring me to be healthier, and for inspiring the women rocking business community to thrive, to make healthy food choices, and not only to make those choices for ourselves, but for the planet, because we vote with our dollars. And like Ocean said, we're living at a time when there's crisis happening on the planet. We have to be aware of where we're spending our money, how we're treating our soils, our atmosphere, our ecosystem. And the choices that we make around food impact the overall health of the planet. And so, Ocean, thank you for coming on and for telling your story with so much gumption and humanity, for being a passionate stand, for really providing great content. These are the pieces that have Ocean's Food Revolution Network be so successful, right? Thank you so much for uniting us against a common enemy. I recommend taking these notes for yourself in terms of launching your own movement, and then jumping in to the Food Revolution Summit so you can see how Ocean and his dad have put together what I believe is one of the very best interview series of our time. You'll learn so much. You'll learn so much about your health, your own well-being, the well-being of the planet, how to lose weight, how to feel amazing. And in the process, you're going to be learning how to position your own interviews and how to launch your own movement, because you'll be studying from somebody who I believe is one of the wisest digital marketers of our time. And so, Ocean, thank you for being such a stand. And I'm just so honored to have you here. Is there anything else you want these women to know?
Yeah, I want you to know that the status quo is really no longer an option anymore for those of us who want a better way on this planet. And your body can't afford to be put off any longer. So it really is urgent to take our health into our hands. We have a pharmaceutical industry that makes its profits from selling drugs. No big surprise there. Not from keeping you healthy. We have a medical industry that acts like food didn't matter. We have a food industry that acts like your health didn't matter. And in this context, it really is necessary to step forward and take charge. And the best way you can do that is by getting informed. But you don't have to figure it out all by yourself. You don't have to read a gazillion books and read 10,000 medical journal articles in order to figure out what's up. You can listen to trusted resources from the top experts on the planet, get it all in one place, and then you'll be empowered to take charge with your life choices and to be a beacon of health and inspiration to the people you love. And it all starts, or it all can start if you so wish, by clicking that link below and joining in the Food Revolution Summit, which is completely for free. So again, thank you so much for being here, Sage. Thank you for your incredible leadership, inspiring tens of thousands of women all over the world to take charge of their economic lives and to be agents of healing on this planet. The work that you and your community and all the women in Women Rocking Business do is absolutely revolutionary. And I'm so proud to be sharing in it with you, to be advocating and standing with you, and so grateful for your support of our work. So everybody who's here, look forward to seeing you in the summit.
You can't rock your business without rocking your body. So go grab a seat in the summit. Thank you so much, Ocean. Bye, everyone. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to hit subscribe so I can keep getting you weekly content to grow your business that is relevant, authentic, and effective. So you can get out there and shine your light and be the messenger that you're here to be, because your clients are waiting for you.